Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Irfan Hussain, and today we'll study Nikolai Gogol's famous story, Overcoat. This is one of the most important short stories in literature, and the story deals with human dignity, identity, and social injustice. Keep in mind, this is not just a story about a coat, the story is about society. Nikolai Gogol was born in 1809 and he was a Russian Ukrainian writer, master of satire. He is famous for his satire, meaning he criticizes society through humor, through his characters, and through the various other literary techniques. His writing often combines real life with strange or absurd elements. Many later writers were influenced by him. The story is set in St. Petersburg, a cold and bureaucratic city of Russia. And the weather of the story, the cold weather, symbolizes emotional coldness in society, their lack of empathy and sympathy for the poor class. This is a place where rank and status matter more than humanity, as it happens in most of the metropolitan cities. Nikolai Gogol set Mr. Akake Ekovich as his protagonist of the story, and he is a very low ranking government clerk. He lives a repetitive mechanical life, means that he goes through the same cycle of life again and again, as you will study here in your post in modern drama. Uh, uh, Beckett, he explained the same thing, that we are going through the same mechanical life daily, and there's no colors in life, there's no change in life. And this is a kind of life that Mr. Akikovic is living in that city of St. Petersburg. And what is his job? That he's just copying the documents, and he copying documents symbolizes that he even does not hear something to do. He receives the document and copies it, and he has nothing to do himself. He has nothing to inculcate about his own mind in the paper. People ignore him and even mock at him because of his poor overcoat, because of his low status. He represents what we call the little man in literature. The story follows a simple but powerful structure. A poor man who lives in St. Petersburg, he develops a desire, gains something valuable, that is overcoat, and then loses it. This cycle shows how fragile human happiness can be. The overcoat is not just a clothing, it is not a piece of cloth, it is a symbol. It represents dignity, identity, and social acceptance. See, when he has that tattering overcoat and the overcoat is that much destroyed or that much withered that it could not be even mended, and then he develops a desire to get a new coat, and with that new coat he accepts to have some kind of identity in the society, some kind of recognition in the society, and that people will start accepting him in the society. And you see that that story shows society ignores poor people. No one help Akeke when he suffers, when he loses his coat, when he suffers from mental trauma, when he suffers from illness. No one does care for him. No one shows care for him. Gogol is criticizing a system that lacks compassion, that lacks empathy, that lacks sympathy, and this is a rigid class division in the society. That there's no one uh, around him to take care of him because just because he belongs to a poor and ignored class of the society. The story talks about a rigid hierarchy, humanization, power without empathy. That it's it tells that society ignores poor people, and the government system is shown as rigid, as heartless, and people are treated based on rank, not on humanity. And you can see that this story is or can be applied still in every metropolitan society, where people are judged by their rank, by their social status, by their wealth, and by their means of income, and by their family references, family links. The person himself does not have any kind of recognition. You see, we often experience in our offices, in our where we are dealing with the people, whoever comes there, he tries to introduce himself with some kind of recognition in society, or he tries to give reference of someone instead of giving his own introduction. He always tries to people try to give references, important references, to tell that they have the links with that people, with that person, because they think that this is the way to be accepted in the society. And unfortunately, it happens in the society that people are accepted because of their links, because of their social references, because of their social links. And yes, defined people are defined by possessions, and that that uh, that particular story also tells about the possession. When he has that possession of court, his friends rejoice, his friend greets them, but when he loses the court, the same friends again mock at him. Same friends again uh, tease him, and finally he collapses. Life centered on court, and then come the ghost revenge. The story becomes strange when Akeke returns as a ghost. This shows the absurd nature of life. This is where the realism is combined with fantasy, and Gogol mixes realism with supernatural elements to make deeper point. Here he combines the physical world with the metaphysical elements, and this is one of his greatest techniques to make the things easier to understand for the common people, and to tell them what could be the consequences of these kind of inhuman behaviors. Coat is a symbol of dignity. Here we are talking about the various symbols. Code is a symbol of harsh society, harsh realities of the cold world, and ghost symbolizes revenge. Symbols help to understand deeper meanings. The things that cannot be explained in many words can be explained with a very simple symbol. That is that has been very accurately implied by uh, Gogol here. His literary style is satire, grotesque, realism, and fantasy. We already have discussed that he mixes up realism with fantasy, mixes a physical world with the metaphysical world, and his satire is meant to criticize society, and this is how he combines physical. This is why he combines physical and metaphysical. He combines humor and tragedy, and his style mixes realism with fantasy that creates a unique effect. He is a Marxist, focuses on class inequality, and we see that class how rigidly class has been. Also, he looks like an existentialist, and that is far ahead of the time, that he focuses on the meaningless life. You know that this existentialism came after World War II in the modern era, but Gogol in his time uh, talked about these kind of things, and he showed how the life was and had been uh, meaningless in that even that particular time. He also presents psychological elements who focuses here on obsession and that is the obsession of Overcoat here. In fact, the obsession of Overcoat, his keen and strong desire for Overcoat is, in fact, his desire for his identity, his desire to be accepted in the social life, his desire to be recognized in society. Also, he's an absurdist here, focuses on irrational reality, that how irrational are desires and how irrational is society towards the recognition of the people. And each of these approaches gives a different interpretation. Marxism gives a different interpretation. Existentialism gives a different psychological focus, is dissecting in the human trauma, and the absurdity of life has another kind of interpretation of life. This is a master class of Gogol, that he inculcates all these elements in one single story, in one single setting. He inspired the great masters like Dostoevsky, like Kafka, and also he inspired the modern literature. And this shows how much impact Gogol has on literature. And as we previously discussed, that it was said by Dostoevsky that all modern literature came out of the pocket of Overcoat of Gogol. This was his great influence. So we can discuss these questions in our class, and you can discuss in group that what gives value to a person. You can discuss is according to your own society, is according to your own social setting, and is society fair in dealing with people, in dealing with persons? That is a big question. The story is a story of dignity and society, and is still relevant today. And this is a powerful critique of society. In our previous lecture, I told you the difference between a critic and a critique. Critic is a person who criticizes some literary work, and critique is a work that criticizes some elements of society, or that is written to criticize something. The story shows how fragile human dignity is, how weak human dignity is, and that even today the themes are still relevant. I hope that you all have read the story, the text of the story, and you can easily understand all these elements. When we will further discuss a few elements of the story one by one, in the form of study questions for examination. Thanks for today, and see you soon, inshallah, with the next lecture. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.